How do I raise my standards without feeling guilty? You probably had moments where you knew something didn't feel right. A text that felt dismissive, a plan that kept getting postponed, a comment that hit you sideways, a situationship that dragged on even though you gave it every benefit of the doubt. And even though your God was telling you, you deserve more than this. This doesn't feel right. Is this how love supposed to show up? Why do I still give chances to people who still don't really see me? And despite all of that, you stayed, you compromised, you made excuses, and you ignored your gut feeling. Not because you're weak and not because you don't know better, but because of that fear that is deep down inside of you that is saying, if I ask for more, will they leave? If I raise the bar, will anyone still meet me? If I hold that standard, am I being selfish or even unrealistic? And I get it, you don't want to seem cold, you don't want to seem high maintenance, you just want to be chosen. But you don't want to do that at the cost of constantly having to betray yourself. So what do? You stay quiet, you shrink, you let it pass, but then you reach that point where you end up spiraling and thinking, why do I always end up getting disappointed? If you ever felt like that, I see you. And this video is your sign and your permission to stop making yourself small. And not to do that with anger and with defense and by raising up your walls, but doing that with a quiet, grounded clarity that says that I don't need to fight for love. I just need to stop abandoning myself. If you're tired of being available to people that are only half in, and if you're tired of convincing yourself that what you're getting is enough, even though it never actually feels like it's enough, if this is you, I want you to know that you are not asking for too much. You are simply in the point of your life where you're finally remembering who you are, remembering that there's a person deep down inside of you that has needs, and that person wants to be met as much as you want to meet that other person and as much as you want that person to love you. You realize and you start to feel like you have been unfair to that part of inside of you that wants its own needs met. And you start realizing that raising your standards isn't selfish anymore. It's simply self-respect. Hi guys, I'm Andriana. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about why you feel guilty about raising your standards. What is that guilt trying to protect you from, and how to rewrite that belief that says that you need to shrink in order to be loved. And finally, I'm going to share the healthy mindset and energy of a woman who holds her standards with certainty and with softness, without any guilt, without over-explaining, and without losing herself. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about why do you even feel guilty for having standards? So let's talk about where this guilt is even coming from, because it's not about the person that you are dating. It goes deeper than that. This is something that is personal to you, and this is an experience that you create, unconsciously of course. This is a guilt that got created and formed in your childhood. I love that we have another thing to blame in our childhood. And this is especially for women who are always praised for always being good, for being helpful, for being easygoing, for being low maintenance. Where basically from a very young age, love became conditional. And so you have learned that when I make others comfortable, I am lovable. I become lovable and I am getting praise for it. When I don't have needs or when I don't communicate them, I get praised, I get rewarded. And when I sacrifice my presence and I shrink myself, it seems like I'm easier to be around, so people like me more. But whenever you did express a boundary, you did express a desire or a need, you may have been shut down, guilt-tripped, You may have been called difficult, or you may have even been abandoned emotionally. So, what did your nervous system learn from this experience? It learned that having needs equals danger. It learned that speaking up equals to rejection. And it learned that raising your standards equal risking love entirely. And this is not a mindset problem. That's why you could watch many YouTube videos that shame you that why do you have such low standards? The problem here is that shaming yourself for having this coping mechanism won't actually solve it. You need to go deeper and understand why that coping mechanism is there and what is it trying to protect you from in the first place. You have to understand, firstly, this is just a somatic memory that is wired deeply in your body. So today, even though you're a grown woman that really wants to express and wants to say that, you know what, this didn't feel good. You know what, I need more consistency. I need more connection. Even though you want to express that, it's not so simple for you to phrase that sentence. It's not so simple for you to communicate that. And that is because your whole body feels in danger even thinking about it. Your heart is racing, your throat gets like choked up and it feels tight. And that is because somewhere deep inside of you, your inner child is still afraid that if I ask for too much, I might lose love. But this is what you need to hear right now. That version of you that have learned to accept breadcrumbs and think that the bare minimum was the normal. That version of you was just doing what she needed to do to survive. So first of all, you need to see her. You need to accept her and you need to forgive her for what she accepted before. What am I explaining here is not to shame you and not to put that version of you into the corner and tell you like, whoa, bad, why are you doing that? We're here to actually bring her out of the corner, acknowledge her, understand her, and tell her, you know what, you did what you thought was best to do based on what you knew at that moment. You did all you knew you could do to survive at that moment. And that is okay. And come here, I accept you, I love you, and I'm here now to protect you and to honor you. I'm no longer the person that is going to put you in the corner and shame you for accepting that. That is okay. That is okay, and that is the path of so many women. And I'm no longer someone that is going to shame you and to criticize you and judge you for doing that. I'm here to understand you. And only just by doing that, you make friends with her. You allow her to come up and to feel safe with you. Something that she didn't feel safe to do before. By doing that, you get to understand now that the woman that you are becoming, she knows better. And therefore, she chooses better because she feels safe to choose differently now, because she feels like she can earn love now without having to shrink, because she understands that there is a girl inside of her that she wants to protect and that she wants her to be heard, because she believes, you know what, maybe you didn't think in the past that you deserved to be heard, but now I want you to feel safe to do that. I allow you to feel safe to be heard because I am here hearing you. I am the person that it's the first person that is going to allow you to do that. And by you giving her the microphone and unmuting her, you basically allow her to be heard with other people too. And that guilt that is expected to come and show up, you know now that is just a leftover emotion from your old identity. So you choose to act differently despite it. You know that it's just a residue of your past, of a past that where love just felt fragile, where you felt fragile. And because you do not relate with that old version of you anymore, you know that emotion of guilt belongs to that old version and not with your new version. You know that today love is not fragile. You know that today you are not fragile anymore. You know that your needs are not too much. You know that actually they are the map that are leading you to the right relationship. Because you know that the person that is right for me, I will be able to communicate these needs to them, and they will be met without any resistance, without any fight, without any guilt. And they will be met with acceptance, with openness, and with, yeah, of course, I'm here for you, I listen to you, I see you, I understand you. And I'm willing to meet those needs of yours because you are important to me. So let's go more specifically in what you are doing wrong and why that is hurting you. So let's be honest, we both know by now that you don't tolerate low standards because you don't know better. You are doing it because even though you know it doesn't feel right, you think that sacrificing that need of yours for them, you think that it will show that you're trying to be good. You think that it will show that you're trying to be understanding, you're trying to be loving, you're trying to be compassionate for them. And therefore that will earn you their love in return. And that intention of you of putting yourself aside to show that you do not want to cause trouble for them. You don't want to be a burden for them. You don't want to be something that they also have to worry about and deal with even though they're going through stuff right now. That intention, as pure as it is, it's exactly what is keeping you stuck in cycles of emotional exhaustion, anxiety, and unmet needs. So here's how this shows up, and let's see if this rings any bells for you. You over-explain instead of standing firm. You try to soften your needs with long apologetic explanations. So for example, you might be saying, I'm not trying to be difficult, it's just that I know you're busy, but it will really mean a lot if you do this. It's probably my trauma, but I just feel a bit blah blah blah. You package your standards in so much fluff that the message that you're trying to deliver gets lost. And your energy, what it actually says and what actually goes across is that, I don't actually believe I deserve this, but I'm going to say it sweetly enough so you don't get mad. And when that standard isn't respected, you blame yourself for not communicating it better instead of questioning if that person is even capable of meeting them. You immediately go into blaming yourself. To take that blame away, I want you to be able to communicate things straight so when you do that, I did my best to communicate that to the best of my ability. So now it shows that, if my standards are not being respected, it's not because they haven't been communicated clearly, but it's because that person doesn't want to meet them for me. You make excuses for inconsistency. You notice the red flags. You notice the emotional unavailability. You notice the hot and cold behavior, the subtle dismissals. But what you say is, oh, he's just been busy. Oh, he's not good at texting, but I know he likes me. Or maybe I am expecting too much too soon. So you gaslight yourself because the truth feels too threatening. So you choose hope over honesty and you confuse crumbs for connection. But spoiler alert, when a guy likes you, you will know. There will be no doubt in your mind whether that guy likes you or not. And this is the law. I don't make the rules, and it took me some time myself to realize this and come to the conclusion. But the statement that they say, if he wanted to, he would, is truth. And I want you to start seeing that as the law and as the truth. So you stop wasting your time. You start to understand, okay, if this guy doesn't meet me, he doesn't want to. So this means that it's not the guy that is aligned for me. There's another guy that is out there aligned for me, and that he is willing to do and meet my standards in the way that I want to. If a guy wants you in their life, he will do anything and he will go through anything to have you. So knowing that, you now are able to realize there is that guy out there for you, right? So that means all you have to do is to stop kissing the frogs that you expect are going to turn into a prince, and you turn your attention away from them, so you are free and able to see the prince that is going to come your way. But if you are like focusing and putting your attention onto the wrong person, then your attention is not clear to be completely and fully into someone that is going to come. So that's why it's so important to close a door in order to be able to go to a new one, in order for a new one to open. You confuse being low maintenance with being lovable. And that's because probably in the past you have been praised for being easygoing, for being the chill and cool girl, the low maintenance girl that doesn't ask for too much. Oh yeah, she's chill. So you end up internalizing the idea that being the chill girl equals to being chosen. Yeah, sure, it means you're being chosen, but from who? You're being chosen from low effort boys. But what is actually happening here is that you abandon your boundaries. You accept bare minimum effort, and you normalize emotional starvation, and you call it independence. Well, in case you don't realize how this could be bad for you, let's see what does this cost you. Firstly, it costs you your self-trust, and that's because you override your own signals and your own intuition. Your inner self is trying to speak to you and to communicate with you, this doesn't feel right, I don't like this, but you ignore that intuition, you ignore that signal, and so that it affects the self-trust that you built with yourself. That connection gets broken. And so you are not connected with that part of yourself and you don't listen to it, which means that that part of you doesn't feel safe with you anymore. It doesn't trust you anymore. It costs you your self-worth, and that's because you keep accepting and tolerating behavior that is giving the signal to your nervous system that this is all I deserve. So now you start seeing and having the perspective of this is what I'm used to getting, so this is what it means that I deserve to get. Maybe I'm not lucky as other girls. And luck has nothing to do with it. You just wired your nervous system to believe that this is all that is available for you. And this in turn affects your self-worth. And finally, this costs you your own emotional safety, because you have been too busy trying to make them comfortable, trying to meet their needs and managing their own comfort and their emotional needs, that you forgot to take care of your own. You forgot to meet your own needs. This behavior is subtle, right? On the surface, it looks kind, it looks patient, it looks loving, but deep down all that is just self-abandonment wrapped in a bow. It doesn't matter what you wrap it around, what is inside is what that matters. And inside, the truth is, all you do is you abandoning yourself. And the more you repeat this, the more you reinforce this belief. The belief that my standards don't matter, the belief that my needs are too much, and that I should be grateful for what I get. That you understand by now that that is not love. That's emotional survival. You have to be able to understand that you deserve to live in truth and not in silence. You deserve your standards to be seen and to be met, and not to be ignored and pushed away for the sake of another person's wants and what is comfortable for them. So what to do instead? What is the alternative? So what does it actually look like to raise your standards without any fear, without any guilt, or without the urge to over-explain? It starts with this simple but radical truth. Boundaries are not ultimatums. They are instructions for your self-respect, meaning that instead of performing your worth, I want you to start embodying it. Instead of breadcrumbs, I want you to start wait for the energy that naturally aligns with your standards. And this is not about being hard. This is about being clear. So let me break it down to you to some tangible shifts. Shift number 1, we are going from pleasing to self-honoring. Your old self will say, oh, I don't want to make him uncomfortable. I don't want to be seen and to ask for too much. Oh, okay, let me adjust so he stays. Your empowered self will say, my job is not to make everyone comfortable. My job is to stay true to myself. If my truth makes someone leave, then that is alignment, not failure. The right person will meet me where I am and not where I shrink to fit. Shift number 2 is from proving to filtering. You do not need to prove your worth in order to be chosen. You need to remember your worth in order to choose wisely. Let your standards act as a filter. Not everyone is going to pass through, but maybe that's the point. You are not too picky. You are finally being precise with your peace, and you finally know what you do want. And you make peace with the fact that not everyone will be able to give you that. And that is okay. You don't want to match with everyone. You want to match with that one person that is going to accept you for who you are, is going to want you wholly and completely, with your wants, with your needs, with your desires, with your standards, without thinking that that is too much. And let me tell you this right now, the pickier you get, the closer you get to attracting the person that you desire in your life. Because being pickier means that you have learned your lessons of what you want and what you don't want in life. And life is trying to make you as picky as possible and to make you filter as much as possible what it is that you want so it can deliver it to you. The more you're able to understand your heart's desires, the more you are able to align and attract that person in your life. But the more general you are and the more open you are to whoever comes and he's willing to give me some love, then the more general that love will be that you attract back. I want you to be fearless with asking precisely what you want, because it doesn't matter how complicated is that person that you ask for in your life, that person exists. And I'm saying that from experience. So do yourself a favor and stop thinking that having filters and being picky means that, oh, this is bad. It means that you are learning, and you are learning more about yourself, about your wants, about your desires, and you are finally honoring them and you don't ignore them. Shift number 3, we go from shame to self-respect. If guilt comes up when you're trying to hold a standard, I want you to pause and reframe it. I want you to be able to see that, okay, this guilt that I'm feeling is not a sign that I am wrong. It's a sign that I'm healing. I want you to be able to see that, okay, this feels unfamiliar because it's new and not because it's wrong. I'm not actually selfish for protecting my needs. Actually, I am finally respecting myself. And shift number 4 is from reactive boundaries to embodied truth. So instead of waiting for someone to hurt you in order for you to feel entitled to speak up, let your presence be the standard. A woman that deeply knows her worth, she doesn't have to explain herself at length. What that means is that her energy already communicates it. It already communicates her standards. She speaks with softness and certainty. She listens to her intuition without wanting any external permission to do so. And she walks away quietly when something doesn't feel aligned, without blaming, without bitterness. Not to punish the other person, but to protect herself, but to protect her peace. When you start embodying these shifts, something powerful starts to happen. All of a sudden, you stop attracting people who test your worth. You start attracting and aligning with people who respect it naturally. You stop living in emotional survival. You start living in emotional truth. Who knew that all you needed to get your needs met without any guilt was for you to be the first one to finally allow them without any guilt? Give that permission to yourself now, and I promise you, you won't regret this. You will be wondering, how did I even settle for anything less before? And remember, the point here is not to raise your standards in order to punish others, but you raise them so you finally end up in a relationship where love doesn't cost you yourself. So let me give you some healthy modeling so you know who you become when you raise your standards. And this will allow you and help you to start embodying that energy and becoming more accustomed to it and normalizing it in your body. So you start to embody the energy of a woman who knows her worth is not up for debate. You embody the energy of a woman who is someone that isn't afraid to disappoint others in order to stay in integrity with herself. You embody the energy of someone with a grounded presence, meaning that you are calm, you're open-hearted, but you are still unwavering in what you allow in your life. You embody the energy of a woman who chooses partners, friendships, environments that rise to meet her without her having to shrink to match what feels safe and what feels comfortable for others. Her inner dialogue sounds like, my needs are sacred to me and they're not too inconvenient. Everybody has their own needs and their own standards, and me as a person that goes into a relationship, I am willing to meet somebody else's standards. So it's only fair for me to expect that other person to meet my own standards and my own needs. I am not asking for too much. I am asking the wrong person if it feels like I'm asking for too much. And she thinks, you know what? I'd rather be alone than abandon myself. I'd rather be alone than being in a relationship where again I have to shrink myself and pour all my energy into making that other person comfortable than allowing myself to be seen fully. So girls, if this spoke to you, if you've been carrying guilt for wanting more, for wanting to stop accepting the bare minimum, for feeling like if I choose myself, this means I'm risking love, I want you to know that you are not alone. And if you're ready to start healing this pattern, not just in your head, but also in your heart, in your body, in your everyday life, then my journal was made for you. It's a space that I've created to help you rebuild that relationship with yourself and to rebuild that relationship you have with love from the inside out. So you can start feeling safe with choosing you and feeling safe with your ability to choose love that is healthy and that is aligned with your wants and your desires and also your standards. This journal is going to walk you through the exact wounds that made you overgive, that made you question your worth, and that made you afraid to raise your standards. And it will make you come home to the version of you who feels whole, rooted, and ready to receive the love that she actually deserves. So if you're ready to stop shrinking and start becoming love, you will find the journal link below. So I want to leave you with the reminder that you are not asking for too much, and you're actually in a phase in your life when you start to remember who you actually are, what you actually want, and you start to realize that you actually deserve it. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope this video helped you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.